channel is sponsored by Great Bay Outfitters. Great Bay Outfitters is a waterfront kayak shop located near Great Bay. They are New Jersey's #1 volume dealer of Old Town kayaks. Great Bay Outfitters specializes in fishing kayaks and offers demos, rentals, repair, rigging, and a full assortment of PFDs, dry suits, motors, paddles, and accessories from many major brands. What is up, everyone? Today, doing a little bit of sheepshead fishing. It's the first time I've been out since Hurricane Ern passed through. Water is not very clean for a higher tide, but I'm gonna hit a bridge first. If that doesn't pan out, I have a plan B in my back pocket. Hopefully we don't have to go to it, but stay tuned. Let's see how we do. There we go. Little guy. Let's get him back in. All right, so while the tide's switching, I think I'm gonna switch what I'm gonna do. I was just at a bridge fishing. I'm gonna try some docks for a little bit. Haven't really hit the docks at all this year, so even if we don't catch anything, at least we tried. So stay tuned, let me pedal to the second spot. Ooh, there was a hit. Had a ton of bait under us, look at all that. All right, so we had a hit right there. Look at that. All right, so that's a good sign. Let me ooh, there we go. There's a fish. Tog, maybe? Tog is my guess. Yep. Sure didn't feel like a sheep. All right, well, that's a good sign. Not a little, not big, but not small. Ooh, let's get him back in the water. Ugh. Now, what I tend to do is try and hit docks with that are usually heavy current flow. I try and hit those initially when the tide just starts to switch, because it makes it a little bit easier to navigate. And I try and keep the docks that are you know, a little bit harder to fish in my back pocket if, you know, the high current ones don't work out. We'll give this piling another drop, see if anything else is on it. Definitely some stripers around, but I really don't want to chase them right now. Whoa. Just had a hit right there. I think it might have been another tog though. Yep. Yep. I think that's another tog. Maybe not. That run says otherwise. Yeah, that's a sheep. That's actually a nice sheepshead. All right. See, being a exploratory fisherman always works out. Just kidding. It does not always work out. I feel like 9 times out of 10, if I try something that I think is going to work, this is that 1 time out of 10. Now that's interesting. He's got a sea lice on his tail. See that? All right, let's get this guy back in the water. So that's a good sign. We're gonna hopefully go back to that well a few times. Ooh. Man, with these type of spines, now that is neat. That looks like an isopod. And it kind of looks like it's doing damage, so I'm gonna pick it off of them. Oh yeah, it definitely is, because actually there's, yeah, he's right here. I don't think that one looks like more of a parasite than a symbiotic one, because you see the marks that it left on them. Sometimes they have symbiotic parasites that help them, but that one was leaving a rash on its back, or back of its tail, so it tells me it probably wasn't helping them out. To be honest with you, man, sometimes it is hard to leave your comfort zone. Like where we left from our original spot, I know if I stayed there I could catch more fish, but kind of wanted to do something different and kind of look around. The docks can be really a good time. Typically I try and save them for when I'm fishing the weekends and there's a lot of people on the water and I just kind of want a spot to myself. But I kind of like the challenge of trying to pull them out of the pilings. Not that the bridges are any different, but sometimes it does feel like it is a little bit harder on these docks because there's a lot more hang-ups. So let's go ahead, maybe one. Now what makes this one ahead of me a little bit tough is they have like the diagonal posts that run, which kind of make it a little bit tougher to pull a fish out if they run through them. That's why I'm kind of dropped on the outside of that, because if I hook into them, at least I'm not worried about trying to pull that fish up and over, if that makes sense. In fact, I'm not even gonna play with fire. I'm gonna back up one. Maybe we'll fish it in a little bit, but I don't want to run the risk of losing a fish on that one right this minute. If these pilings to my right don't produce, we'll pop forward a little bit. There's a bass. Tell you what though, when you do this type of fishing, you got to bring the blinders, man, because stuff like that can get you. Unless fish are like absolutely blitzing, it's usually better to just stick with what you're doing. My younger years, I'd be reeling this in as fast as I could, cutting my line and casting it out with like some type of swim bait, but I feel like really small tog. Yep, that's a tog. Yep. It's funny, man, when you could tell the difference just in the subtleness of the hits. Ooh, There we go. Tog, maybe? Yeah, tog. No, sheepshead. Just weirdly hooked sheepshead. Line got under him, I guess. All right. Never been happier for that to be a sheep. Ooh. Although those little guys are spunky, man. You gotta be careful. You end up getting a dorsal fin to the leg and a nice little infection. All right, little sheep. All right, so there's definitely some sheep here. Just seems like you gotta just present it at the right depth, which at this moment I don't know what it is, because both those fish were in different parts of the water column. So I think we'll just keep working high to low and just seeing where we find them. Seems to be the best way to target them here. A lot can be on the bottom, but I find that you're fighting through a lot of tog and triggerfish and other kind of crustacean eaters that kind of sit on these pilings. When I drop my camera down, it is kind of interesting to see how each fish kind of stage differently. And I'm not sure which one really rules the roost type thing. I'm not sure if like one species will actually push another one off or push them into a deeper area or shallower area, if you get what I'm saying. Ooh, there's a hit. There we go. Oh. Oh, no. Which side does he got me on? Oh. He's got me in the structure. I think he's got me. Oh man. I can't really tell. Let me open the bail and figure this out. I think he's got me this way. Looks like big boy ran me through the dock. I don't think we're getting this bad boy out. Alright, let's try that one again. Hopefully not lose whatever we just lost. Wow. That was quick. Let's go. At least we got that one off the dock. There we go. Let's get you in the water. See if we can't get a bigger one. That one we just lost before this was a monster. I'd have loved to see that fish. Oh man, missed him. That was a big time miss. that one I got. That one I did get. That's the run we were waiting for. If you notice, I'm kind of just holding the pressure on the rod. I could always tell sometimes it's like striped bass where they load up and just make that solid run, that if you try and horse through, you pull the hook, typically, unless you got a really good hook set. That was actually not a bad hook set. That one we weren't losing. When that hook fully goes through the side of the jaw, you're in good shape. There we go. A small guy. He was like tapping at it. That was like the most tap friendly hit I've had in a while. Oh man. Ooh. Ah. All right, let's get this guy. Oh man, my camera just messed up. I think I'm recording now. I hope I am. Hooked into another sheep. Yeah, buddy. Shoo. Let's get him back. A lot of cookie cutters today. The only monster we had, we lost. There we go. There we go. That's our last sheep, I think. Yep. All right. Finishing the day with a fish. Sometimes it feels like you're at the casino, man, and you're just like telling yourself, this is my last spin, or this is my last hand of blackjack, and you end up there 3 hours later losing your life savings. Fortunately, fishing's not like that. The only thing you end up leaving with is regret if you don't catch anything and you waste all that time. At least I do. But man, that guy was not getting away. He got that one wedged in his mouth. Let him go, let him grow.